Monster Hunter Wilds is a perfect game, yet it is unfinished. So, welcome to Nolep. We are going to talk about my most anticipated, the biggest game I've ever waited for. It is supposed to be the game of the year of 2025, if only not for GTA 6, which is going to be the default winner. Monster Hunter Wilds was first revealed back in the Game of the Year 2023. The first time I saw it, I couldn't believe it. And yes, as someone who has always been a sucker for Monster Hunter content, I easily fell into the hype since it's obvious Monster Hunter community has been waiting for a new mainline title since World, and usually Monster Hunter always release a new game or expansion every year. But why does it take years to release and announce Monster Hunter Wilds? It is because the game was made with a new engine called RE Engine, the same engine behind Resident Evil and Dragon's Dogma 2. This is important information to understand the reason behind everything that's happened to Wilds. Now, what is Monster Hunter Wilds? This is the 6th generation of the franchise where you will be playing as monster hunters. You can fight monsters, gather their materials, make some cool armor and weapons, and then repeat. That is the basic of Monster Hunter in general. So, what's new in Monster Hunter Wilds? There is plenty of new stuff if we talk from the perspective of Monster Hunter World players, since most of the players probably come from World. And if you are a veteran before the modern era of Monster Hunter, this information still might be relevant to listen to. Wilds bring huge change to the world building system. It is more open, more connected, and absolutely bigger than the previous Monster Hunter. Let's just say this is what Guiding Land's supposed to be in Monster Hunter World, but bigger and more complex. There are 5 different biomes in Wilds: the Windward Plain, which is the desert biome, Scarlet Forest, which speaks for its name, Oil Whale Basin, which is supposed to be the volcanic zone in Wilds, Ice Shard Cliff, the Frozen Mountain, and Ruins of Wyveria, the mysterious place which unlocked throughout the story. Another change in Wild is also the movement and pacing in the game. Monster Hunter Wilds is huge, and since it is open world, it might take a long time to travel between areas, and that's the reason why we have Secret, a rideable bird companion who are useful to help you going for places. And they are adorable, can use autopath, would pick you up in the dire situation, and they are so useful to get mount attack. Speaking about companions, our Palico is back, and now they can talk. Like, actually using voice.
I'll ride with you!
Huh?
They can guide you, especially for new players who don't know how to play the game yet. They give you hints, tutorial, and yes, they are now incredibly useful in combat. Your cat also going to mimic your sleeping bomb tactics because they bring bombs and more traps now. And they quite often used it, so the AI is now better. Since we talk about AI, there is a new AI companion just like Monster Hunter Sunbreak. You can hunt with 3 different AI companions and they behave like real players. Even sometimes, they are better than random SOS. They mount monster, they break parts, they stun, they give you heals,
Nice.
and the best of all, they put the bomb when the enemy sleeps. How can AI now better than some random SOS player who joined my hunt? This is ironic since unconsciously I get used to play with this AI
Huh?
now. They are like a real squad to me. And hey, if you like to play with other people, now the server can hold up to 100 players in a single server. But yes, you won't see 100 of them at the same time. 15 players are visible in the town and still 4 players in one team available as usual. The question some people ask most of the time is, can you bring your friends into the same open world just like Guiding Land? The answer is yes, you can. Just make a link party and then invite your team to your environment link, then they can play in the same open world with you as a leader. I think I have explained a lot about the game in general. Let's get into the review. There are some categories that I need to talk about the game, the good and the bad. If you disagree, we can talk about it in the comment section. The first is graphic. The game has reached its peak of graphical fidelity for Monster Hunter franchise. Whoever said it is the same with Monster Hunter World might probably be right. They might probably using lower end GPU, because from what I've seen so far, Monster Hunter Wilds got the level of details, texture quality, and visual effects of what modern games supposed to be. But let's not compare it to Red Dead, Horizon, or even Cyberpunk, because it's not even close. Not even to their distant cousin, Dragon's Dogma 2. Even though Dogma is a dog shit, it still has a better graphics than Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm just being honest here. But yes, once again, Monster Hunter Wilds graphics are incredible if you're standing still. Because sometimes, whenever you move your camera, the game still renders the distance, and that's where we need to talk about the performance issue.
Huh?
Now, speaking about performance issue, the game has a reputation for being the worst optimized game in Monster Hunter history. And I'm not overreacting, you can always see the review for the game. It is incredibly low for one of the biggest AAA games in the market right now. And that speaks volume because unable to play the game in constant 60 FPS for PlayStation 5 Pro is a diabolical optimization. Let's talk about PC optimization because that's all the problem that everyone keeps talking about. This is the state of peak modern gaming right now. As you can see, they expect you to play the game using FrameGen enable just to reach 60 FPS under the medium setting. I tried using the FrameGen that's available inside the game settings, and the game's finally reached 60 FPS, yet not a stable 60 FPS. There are some stuttering going on, some glitches I found just by walking around the open world, and the graphical issues with rendering texture. The infamous Monster Hunter polygon seems to be common for those who use less than 8GB VRAM. And I don't want to talk about some random crash that's still happening even when I record the game this time. Yet after all of that, the Monster Hunter team seems quiet about the performance issue that's still haunting the game. They said nothing about it and haven't released any patch that could probably fix the issue. So let's hope after a lot of feedback they will at least take a look at the game performance and pay attention that's not everyone playing using the high-end spec they expect us to do. Now, let's talk about another reason why the game received mixed feedback and has been losing their players since the first release. And it's all about the endgame. Monster Hunter Wilds has a huge expectation among the fans to be the ultimate Monster Hunter, the next Monster Hunter World, or even the best Monster Hunter game in the franchise. Although it seems demanding, they did take over years in the making and a year absent from what's supposed to be the release window. Monster Hunter Wilds is a perfect game, yet it is unfinished. What do I mean by that? So, the game is supposed to have the best features that previous Monster Hunter games had and learn the mistakes from its predecessor. Yes, they changed the game to an open world, a semi-open world, they made the graphics better than any Monster Hunter games, they gave all 14 weapons a new moveset, more mobilities, and combos. They even add Power Clash, Parry, and Perfect Dodge to the game so everyone could have a fresh gameplay, including Focus Mode that lets you do a 360 move as a Greatsword player. Imagine that, after 20 years, a Greatsword user can finally land a hit without a miss. So, it is a perfect game for Monster Hunter. Even though I want some switch skill like Sunbreak has, I think it's quite enough for now. But why is everyone unsatisfied with the game? Is it because the game is getting too easy, or is it because the game lack of monsters in the Monster Hunter game? Honestly, the answer is both. But the most important is the lack of endgame. What do I mean by lack of endgame? You can always see in any Monster Hunter game previously, to reach high rank you need to fight a lot of monsters, following the story progression and such. But Wilds do the same, yet the difference felt too obvious. Since you reach high rank, the only new monster introduced are Gormagala, Arkfeld, and 4 Apex monsters, where some of them are introduced in low rank. They still add the tempered monster in the game, even put the Frenzy monster, which is a huge deal in the 4th generation. Speaking about Frenzied monster, they are not the same as they used to be, and actually they are unimportant to the endgame progression or the story whatsoever. Honestly, I'm disappointed with the choices. I felt like the game hasn't finished yet and they still have some story that could lead you to the endgame, but yet there isn't any. The endgame loop is stuck with hunting tempered monster for decos or Archean weapon, the meta weapon with gacha stats. And we can all collectively agree the design for this weapon is dog shit. They should have released the layer weapon before I use the mod myself, because I'd rather use other weapon than looking at that piece of iron slab. And if you ask me what do we need to make Monster Hunter Wilds endgame better, I have plenty of ideas that I should make a separate video talking about it since this one is taking too long. But to summarize, this is what I think we need for endgame progression. Number 1, get us more monster. And I don't mean variant, I want real monster. Give us Elder Dragon back, give us old gen monster, give us Siege monster, I have a list for it. Or it, give us what Monster Hunter generation has. It could fix majority of the problem, because let's be honest, I'm going to put a spoiler alert here. You can skip it if you want. How the f we cannot even fight Zoshia in the endgame? This is one of the coolest fights I've ever had in Monster Hunter game. He is the monster, and Capcom just literally woke up one day and decided this cool looking potentially the best fight in the game is not available for the endgame. What a game worth $70. Number 2. Give us Siege Battle. Monster Hunter World is still alive because of Safi Jiva or Cove Tarot Siege. People cannot wait to play as a huge team, or even the best part of it, let's have 8 players in one team just for a siege. The feeling of seeing more than 4 players gives you the MMORPG vibes, and Monster Hunter unconsciously has become the modern MMO itself. So why are we stopping when we can reach the greatness? Number 3, this is gonna be the last because it's been too long. Monster Hunter Wilds should bring back more social system, like gathering hub and housing system, which I know they will add it in the first major update. Another one is seamless shared open world like Guiding Land. What I mean is whenever you share an environment link with your party, once you get back to town or teleport to another biome, the party gets kicked out and you have to re-invite your party once again, which I think quite impractical.
Nice.
Maybe this social bubble system needs to be improved so everyone could have a decent experience for this supposed to be perfect game, and I'm all for it. Remember, the game is $70, which is equal to Elden Ring, God of War, Baldur's Gate, and heck, even the entire Monster Hunter World plus Iceborne expansion. So if I have to spend that equal amount of money, I want equal amount of content. Full game on release, even though I know the game will be updated regularly, it is not what the newcomers eventually familiar with our system. Which once again, since this is the game for newbies, why the hell they left in the first place? So, to sum up all the reviews, I will give the game 7 out of 10 for now. The game should be a perfect Monster Hunter with all the features implement, some fresh new ideas, faster and more flexible gameplay, a gorgeous semi-open world, and a full voice act story which never happened in Monster Hunter game before. But yet, lack of endgame content, replayabilities, and horrendous optimization hold the game to what it's supposed to be, putting a lot of newcomers and veterans to prematurely quitting the game. It is such a great time putting this review finally. I can go back and play more games, and I will make more videos talking about Monster Hunter Wild requests, which gonna put a tons of things I wish the developer put into the game in the future. So if you're interested, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we will talk about it in the future. And since you're watching until the end, thank you! And hit that like button for more Monster Hunter content and gaming news in general. So tell me, what do you think about Monster Hunter Wild? Is it bad, is it good, or is it beyond your expectation? I will looking forward to it. And I'll see you again pretty soon. Stay Nolep, guys.
By my own order.
I will end the video.